Hey guys, how's it going? So, if you guys can see behind me off in the distance, you see that giant banner. It says that's from Disneyland. We are here in Sherman Oaks at a auction from the Van Eaton Galleries, and it's one of the largest private collections of Disney memorabilia, and the owner is selling them off. And fortunately for us, he's putting them on public display before they meet the auction block, which is this coming weekend, so this is one of the last days of the exhibit. Mars and I actually came out here before and we took a couple photos, and we were kind of going around checking everything out, but we wanted to come back and film it, and so that's what we're doing today. One thing that I found that was fun is, as you guys are watching, just try to remember, do you guys remember the items in the park? Did you see them originally? Because that's one thing that I enjoy a lot. So come on, join us guys. We're gonna go check out some really cool Disney memorabilia from both Disneyland and a few items from Disney World. Let's go check it out. Alright, so when you first enter, this is kind of what it looks like. What you can see here, it's a complete set of the model series that they sell. It is really crowded, so I'm going to kind of just bounce around you guys. So, cool art on the wall and give you a little idea. So every piece in here is available for auction. It tells you a brief description about it, and in some cases like this, it tells you the poster's measurements and the estimated price they think it'll sell for. Now you guys can go online if you're watching this anytime this weekend, and the price that they think it's going to sell for. And again, this is through Van Eaton Gallery. Okay, look at this. This is the Mark Twain riverboat. It's the Bradley Club concept art. So it's for the Bradley Club. It's an unbuilt clubhouse. It was supposed to be in Disneyland. Obviously, it never was, but I mean, look at that. Like, you can see what appears to be like the corner of like a show building. Look at this big guy here. He's peeking over the top, and this entrance here looks like some kind of little housing here and rock work and everything. And then you see, and maybe that isn't the Mark Twain. Maybe it's just another boat. But it's very interesting. So again, this piece, of course, never came to fruition. Get a little closer look at this. So you can purchase these pieces individually, and this is a full complete set. I remember seeing these in the parks for sale in the shops. It's really cool to see them all together like this. It's really quite impressive. The only problem with something like this is I just have no idea where you would put it. I'm always a fan of the park signs. So signs like this, even if they weren't anything, too offensive, like this one here, it's all faded. It just says welcome to Disneyland. It's kind of where some certain things are. But park signs like that are always really fun. And it kind of stands out to me, like even this one here where it just says Disneyland closes today at 7 p.m. I really like that. It's super cool. And it's letting you know that this closure sign here. It doesn't say a year. I was hoping it would tell me a year, but unfortunately it doesn't say. But even this time, they think it's going to sell for $500 to $700. Another view of the model set, and see the back side of Sleeping Beauty's castle and some princesses in there. Very, very cool. I love the detail on this. So again, it is really crowded in here. We did have to wait about 15, almost 20 minutes to get in here. So we're gonna come back over here and I want to look at some of the artwork. So here's what they had at the service vehicle. You see, this is from 1955. Yeah, it's just super cool to see what could have been, I guess. This is really cool too. So it's some reference photos they used for Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. This was from 1964. You can see the estimated value $200 to $400. And here is it's a hand silkscreen attraction poster. And this was up in the parks from 1965 to 1973. Now these maps that you guys can see here, I remember having one. It would have been from the late 80s, early 90s, and I totally remember having one. And I remember when we moved houses when I was, I think, 12 years old. We moved from one house to the house my parents were currently in, and unfortunately that map got destroyed in the move. But you can see them here, and it's cool. So this one here, I'm getting started. This is from 1962. And you can just kind of get a look-see of what's going on with parks. So look at Tomorrowland, it's still that sort of what I consider like classic Tomorrowland. The landscape, the large rocket kind of centerpiece there, the saucer ride, and the other rocket attraction. In each map, you can see the changes and how they take place. One thing you'll notice too, this one's from 1964. Obviously there's no Splash Mountain. The park is very, very, very different. So let me cut through here. This is a truck that would have been one of the Main Street trucks. They have this gigantic letter D here. This is off the original Disneyland Hotel. So a huge letter D. And I don't know the exact dimensions. Let me see if I can get a little closer without getting people's photos here. So this is from the Tower Building from 73 to 99. And they estimate this will sell for somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000. But it's pretty impressive just to stand here and to see the scale of it. See the life preserver from the Disneyland Hotel. Some other signage from the parks. Here's a old sign from the Plaza Inn. This sign. It just says from the 1990s, but it's a menu from the Plaza Inn. Now check out the prices there. You get a rotisserie chicken served with potatoes and vegetables and a roll. And you can get a quarter chicken, breast and wing, or quarter chicken, leg and thigh for under $8. $8. That's pretty impressive. Just look at some of the other dishes, like spaghetti for $5.95. Hey Disney, how about we do a throwback price day? I'd love to see some of those prices at the Plaza Inn. Here's one of the window displays that they would have on Main Street. Now they still do these. They change periodically, and now the ones they have are quite intricate. They move around, and there's really a lot going on to them. This one here is, of course, of Cinderella and the glass slipper. I'm just trying to get it on the foot there. See, just got there in the corner, Jack. And see, this is another thing I think was pretty cool. It's one of the outdoor vending carts. You see Dewey. And over here, so it's Three Nephews from Duckburg Ice Cream Cart. You can see here. So 55. This car was likely an older model that was refurbished in the 1990s, so that's when they added the characters to it. And they estimate this will go around $1,500. Now this is something I think is really neat too. So see at the top, it's listed as Bear Country postcards, and you could actually get a postcard out of this machine for a nickel. I would love to have had one of these. Like, how cool is this? And you can see here, this is from the 70s and 80s.
This thing?
Yeah, it used to be outside the attraction. You could put a nickel on and get yourself a souvenir postcard. And here is a canoe. Check this thing out. I'm kind of painting over it. So, look how long this thing is and how wide it is. It looks a little different from the ones that we have now. Sorry, my camera's kind of focusing a little bit. But this is really amazing. It says here it was this was at Disneyland in the 90s and 2000s. So it's actually, I'm surprised it's not as old as I thought. Now this is something that kind of hits home for me, is the attraction poster for Splash Mountain, because I remember going to the parks when this opened. Now it says here this poster is from the 2000s, so it's a little later, but I still remember being down in the parks for the opening summer of Splash Mountain. Now this is original pre-opening paintings for Splash Mountain, and these are said to be from 1988. I'm going to cut across into here some more attraction signs and posters. See, again, here's another sign that I just think is kind of neat. It's really not that impressive, but just because it was a park sign, this was from the 80s and 90s, I think it would be really cool to have if I could have one. And of course, Star Tours. Now this one here is from 1987, the original presentation artwork. And then this one down here, more promotional artwork from 87.
I had a rocket chair as a kid playing
Some more posters. Now some of these I believe are, sorry, my camera keeps going in and out. But some of the stuff is from Disney World, like this, the Alien Encounter. This is from Disney World, 1994. This has been changed to Stitch's Great Escape, and now a lot of folks believe that'll be changed to something else in the near future. It's another piece that I remember. So when you used to exit Star Tours and you came off the ride, you would see these posters along the exit ramp. They're really cool, although I always wondered why don't we go to Dagobah or Endor, but it's pretty sweet. You can see here from 86. Now these are just estimates too. I keep telling you the estimate at the bottom there, 300 to 500. It can certainly sell for more, and some of the items are going for more. Now here's a rocket from Disney World. This was the Starjets attraction from 74 to 94. And it's a full-size ride vehicle, as you can see here. It obviously doesn't have the safety gear and stuff, but it's all the rest of it. And of course, do you guys remember the People Mover from Disneyland? I know Disney World still has theirs, but Disneyland used to have one. The track is still there. I remember it very, very well. I never understood the Tron portion of it. You would go through a lot of the attractions, including a little bit of Star Tours and Space Mountain, and then you would go through the last part of the show building and you would face Tron, and it was just a bunch of loud lights and noises, and I never quite understood it as a kid. But that attraction was replaced, and it was replaced by this thing, the Rocket Rods. So the Rocket Rods were a very short-lived attraction, which took over the track in Tomorrowland after they removed the People Mover. And this is quite a large ride vehicle, as you can see. It seats up to 6 adults, and it's just long. You can kind of see for some scale there. Now this is an older Space Mountain ride vehicle, and they still have the speaker system in your ears, and you just have the regular lap bar. Notice though, you had a little bit more leg room. I don't know if you guys can tell on here. You had far more leg room. You didn't have the little security pouch that you do now. So it is different. And it says here it's an original attraction vehicle, 1977. Yeah, just so cool. I mean, just like today, you know, just seeing the carts cycle through. I can remember the older style. I don't know if it quite was this one, but I definitely remember older ride vehicle version. It's a little crowded here, but I want to show you the rockets here. Now, this was one of my brother's favorite rides, if I recall. And this used to be in Tomorrowland. So now, when you enter Disneyland, if you go into Tomorrowland and you head back, it's kind of like right across from Star Trader. They have a fruit stand there and like a vacation club and a few things. On the very top of that building is a big antenna thing. A lot of satellites on it, etc. That used to be this attraction. So on the end of those arms, instead of satellites, it used to be these rockets. And you actually took an elevator to get up there to the top. And then you'd get in, just like the rockets are today, which is at the entrance of Tomorrowland, but on the ground level. They used to be way up high, and it was so cool to get that view. So I'm going to stay on ride vehicles for a minute. This one here is from the Matterhorn. Currently occupied by a lot of plush, but this one's here from 78 to 2012, so I guarantee I would at least had a shot at riding this one. Now this one's a little stripped down, so it doesn't have all of the seats in here, but this would have been stacked. So just as you see the stuffed animal sitting in here, this is how you would have ridden. I know they've overhauled it now so that you have your individual seat and lap bar. Some of the ride vehicles, like this one from Snow White's Scary Adventures, you can get in and take a photo op. We'll post some of our photos here. And then this one from Peter Pan. Super cool. I remember going to D23 Expo in Anaheim in 2009. I think it was 2009. It might have been 2011, but they had one of these for sale, or for auction, excuse me. And I always just thought that would be the coolest thing to have in the house. And here they have this cool Mr. Toad ride vehicle. Now this is something Mars and I would like to have. We enjoy the attraction, we find it fun. We like the little cartoon film. It's pretty silly. And of course, I always enjoy that at the end of the ride you wind up in hell. Very interesting. Not sure everyone catches that. Lastly, I just want to point out the Dumbo attraction vehicle. I wonder if you get to stand with it. I hope so. But pretty cool. Again, super neat. I just don't know exactly what you would do with it. Here's some cool concept art from Pirates of the Caribbean, 1966. Very cool. There's some signage. Now again, I would like to have something like this. I don't know if I'd pay $5,000 to $6,000. Matter of fact, I do know I would not. But pretty cool. Get yourself an actual Zoom buggy. I don't think it comes with these guys, but pretty sweet. Now this one's a little different, I think, than the current models that they have now. But I know one of my favorite parts is when you come out of the attic scene and it kind of lays back. It somehow is just one of the most comfortable things. Now it's probably a combination of that I'm tired and we've been in the parks forever, but I always like when it lays back. So I would just imagine if I had one, I would just kind of invert it over, tilt it I should say, and it would just be the most comfortable chair in my entire house. And of course, here's these show posters that we all know from the entrance of Disneyland when you first come in and go under the railroad. I want to point out this door is really cool too. Now this I'd love to have. It's one of the corridor doors when you first go on the attraction, and I believe it's a stretchy one. I'm trying to read the thing, but it's one of the first corridor ones that you see when you go on the ride. There's a lot of people taking photos, but I'm going to kind of pan. These are the paintings from the lift that takes you down to the attraction. Is this room actually stretching? is it just your imagination? Now these ones are hand painted, and it had to be changed out every so often. The ones that are in there now, I believe, are printed, so I believe it's a little different, probably a lot more cost effective for them. There's some parking signs up there too. There's Minnie Mouse, over there is Kanga and Tinkerbell. I'll focus back on Minnie here. Now these used to be in the parking lot, which is now where Disney California Adventure stands, as well as the Esplanade. I definitely remember these signs. I'm trying to remember which character we had, and they had a small little tram system that went through the parking lot, and you'd often catch the tram near the main gate, and then it would drop you off at a point near your car, close as it could, and then you'd have to then walk to your car after that. A better view at the rockets here. Again, these used to be in Tomorrowland at the very top of the building where the satellite array is. I don't know what else to call that, but if you're in Tomorrowland now, there's a bunch of satellites that are at the top of one of the buildings, and that used to be the ride vehicles for this instead of the satellite dish. Used to be these rockets at the end. But definitely being in here and being around all of this, obviously super nostalgic. People Mover again. I could definitely remember riding the People Mover a bunch of times. I never rode the rocket rods. Definitely remember riding Space Mountain. I remember the queue of Space Mountain used to have windows to it, and so while you're waiting in line, you could actually see the rockets whiz by. One thing I can remember about these rockets is that my dad is not the biggest fan of heights, but I remember, you know, we'd go to the parks when I was a little kid, and I want to ride that, I want to ride that. And he would reluctantly, but always willingly, do it. Well, and he would end up doing it, and I'm grateful for that. You know, looking back now, I just realized it's one of the things that kind of a, I don't know, sacrifice, I suppose, is the word. It's just kind of one of the things that he did that just, you know, was all for me, and just, I very much appreciate that. Very, very, very cool. And, you know, I remember it now. I remember doing that. I remember riding up there. And I remember, of course, when we got in, I always wanted to go to the very top. I wanted to be at the highest point possible. So, just looking at this stuff now, it brings back memories like that. Just some signage from Tomorrowland as well as Space Mountain. I'm going to head back this way real quick. You know what? There's no one over here, so let's go look at this better view. Some of these show posters here. And here's a menu from the Riverbell Terrace. And so this is from the 1980s, and again, check out the prices. So cool. Look at that. Chicken meal box, $6.25. Turkey sandwich. Sounds good too, look at that. $4.25, and here's one of the signs from the building. Casa de Mexicana. I'm just gonna take a guess. This is what Rancho de Zocalo used to be called. Definitely, please comment below, guys. Let me know. It says it's from the 1980s and 90s, so let me know what that was. I only know it as Rancho de Zocalo, at least from my memory. But yeah, these show posters are pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out which one I think is my favorite. Oh, no, hands down, this one. The Country Bear Jamboree is by far my favorite one. This is so neat. We got the whole gang here, they're hanging out, got all their instruments. Yeah, definitely my favorite one. I can remember going to see that show. It was a long walk back there, and but it was always nice inside. Nice and air conditioning and seating. Get a closer look at the Playhouse entrance sign. Now obviously we can't touch, but I'm wondering if that's real wood. I'm trying to read the sign now. Yeah, hand-carved wood. I mean, honestly, the craftsmanship on this is amazing. What a cool sign. Even if it wasn't Disney memorabilia, I think that's a really awesome sign. I like this toy too, the stagecoach toy. One, you just don't see packaging like that. It's really unique in my opinion. And it's just kind of a cool piece. Like, I think displayed like it is really how it should have been. I'm sure there were thousands of those that were just torn open as little kids were anxious to play with them, and now they're lost to time. Just want to get a little closer to him and check him out. You guys can see him. We all know him from the show. He's, oh, see, you can see he moves a little bit. I know he was talking earlier. This is by far one of my favorite pieces too, just because he's an animatronic from the show, and I think even though he's an animatronic, you kind of view him as a character, you know, so when he speaks and he's part of the show, I think that just makes it that much cooler, and it would be so neat to have him in the house. Something else I remember very much is in downtown Disney, you used to be able to operate this Jungle Cruise boat. So it's a little speedboat, an electric motorboat. And it was remote controlled. And you would use this here. So you gotta identify your boat, make sure you knew which one it was. So here it's actually boat 13, but we got ride control 10. And you put your token in there and then you could steer it. I definitely remember driving these around. So this says it's from Safari Adventure 1999. Yeah, Oregon. It's from the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. So before it was Tarzan's treehouse, it was Swiss Family Robinson's treehouse. So this was in there from the 60s until 1999 when they changed it over. It's made of all wood. It was just painted to look like an organ. I know we skimmed over some of the art earlier, so we wanted to come back. So again, these concepts are great. Like, look at that. I actually really like the umbrella on this table. It's very cool and whimsical. This was concept art, 1954. And it was just a lily pad shaped seating. Doesn't say exactly where it would have been. And look at this, a very different version of Monster the Whale, I presume. You would actually go underwater to a viewing area where you could see fish and things, I imagine. Yeah, original concept for unbuilt Pinocchio-themed walk-through aquarium. Wow, that's so cool. See, and that's another thing I like about the concept art is it brings out the most creativity in people. And this is interesting as well. It's Clown Goose Portal. And it was supposed to go to Pleasure Island. So here's some cool merchandise. And look at these official roadmap to Disneyland. So 1955. This is cool too. I don't think you guys can see this on film, but it's sort of like a 3D picture. Like the monorail there pops, the image behind it. It's on like a 3D paper. Like you'd get like a 3D baseball card. You guys remember those? Yeah, I know it's not coming on a camera, but these are really neat, really cool looking cards. I'm gonna circle back here because we didn't get to come over here earlier and point out some of these tickets, preview things, some information guides. Alright, so talk about pricing. This is from 2000, mind you. This wasn't that long ago. Annual passport, special offer, $99. It's not valid 27 days during the year. Or you can get the premium for $199, so $100 more, you get those last 27 days. Or you can come to for 1 day. And look at the guided tour. Much cheaper as well. And so this is from 2000. Again, it wasn't that long ago. And now there's, what, I don't know, 5 or 6 different types of passes. I don't think you can touch one for $199 anymore. I know the ones we have are $9.99. Really? So this is a very rare, high-quality print of that original concept design for Disneyland that they used to pitch to investors to get the funds for Disneyland. behind a huge opera house where City Hall is now. Tomorrowland's very, very different. Huge castle there. I always like the hot air balloon. It's just fun. I do like the mailboxes they still have in the park. This one here says it's from 1955 all the way through the 90s. Really cool. We mentioned in one of our videos earlier, you guys can mail stuff from the mailboxes at the parks. And this is from the submarine voyage, the Sea Serpent. And the submarine voyage used to be out in the lagoon. Thank you so much. Pan over and you guys can see how big he is. Trying to get an ongoing shot. Look how long this is. And this is cool too. It's a little sign from the submarine voyage. Super long. So I just want to get a shot of the Skyway bucket here. So these used to transport you from Tomorrowland to Fantasyland. And for the longest time, the stations were still there. One of my favorite parts, of course, was when you would go through the Matterhorn Mountain. It would actually go through the Matterhorn Mountain. And it was just a cool way to get across the park. It honestly wasn't any faster. In fact, I believe it would almost always take you longer to get across the park if you use the Skyway system. But it was just a cool way to go. You got a bird's eye view of everything. I'm actually going to put in a couple of photos that my dad took from the Skyway. It came out really well. So I'm actually going to end the video here next to our serpent friend. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. I know it was a little crowded in here. There's a lot to deal with, a lot of people. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some cool memorabilia and I would say artifacts from the parks. I think it's really great that these are on display for people. Totally cool that they're deciding to sell it and auction it off and allow us to see it one last time, because who knows where they're going to end up after this. So, all right, as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below and leave us comments if you like. Let us know what you like about it and what you didn't, and what you guys would like us to film in future videos. We appreciate it. So have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.